start. This is Figuring Shit Out, episode 34. We still
Yes,
going
sir.
hard. You know who I am, Bunny
34 of
Flux.
things right.
34, I'm positive. I'm starting to lose count, but
Nah,
if it's not, I'll fix it in post. It's all good.
You
you
gotta get a
straight, man. I'm messing
calendar.
with you.
No, we got a calendar. It's up there. It's all crazy, but
Okay,
it's
congratulations.
yeah, all the scheduling is getting insane. But Bunny Flocks, check out the sites, bunnyflocks.com, Loser Perspective, silversyndicate.org. We got King Arthur in the building.
You know what time it is. Unify and thrive, man. Get to it. New year, new grind, man. Unify and thrive. That's the quote for the year. Unify and thrive. Y'all see the
I
website?
love
Check them
that.
out.
Facts.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah,
It's
I
dope.
like it.
It's dope.
Check out the website. Cuddy app under construction. 2020 faces will be in the streets, man, soon. But who we got today, Frank? Who we talking about today?
We got Miss LaBena Curtis, aka tax professional. I don't want to mess it up and say the wrong thing. She's an Enroll agent. Perhaps you can do a better job of telling us what exactly that is. What's an Enroll agent?
Mm-hmm.
Where is your expertise line? What you can talk about, what you can't talk about. Give us a little background, please.
Okay, sure. So, an enroll agent is I don't like to compare us to CPAs because CPAs are, they're like superb, right? They know so much.
Right.
But CPAs are accountants, whereas all enroll agents are not accountants. We are licensed at the federal level, whereas CPAs are licensed at the state level. They go to school with CPAs have degrees. To be an enroll agent, you don't have to be one. So I'm an enroll agent. I'm one of America's 50,000 enroll agents. Not very many of us, and I think less than 10% of that. 50,000, yeah, and less than 10% of that are people of color.
So, and is that something you apply for the IRS? Is like a schooling or something you got to do to get that title?
You have two ways to get it. Is either pass a comprehensive 3-part exam. That exam was it was hard. Okay, right. It's not the easiest exam. And you go before the IRS. You have to apply for licensure. They have to do background checks and all. Check your taxes and so much more before they issue a license to you.
They check your taxes? Oh, snap.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Oh, snap. So do they like audit you to make sure you're capable, or like?
It's not an audit that we have to go through. I don't know what their process is because I don't work for the IRS. Of course, let me make that very clear. I don't know what their process is, but it's not an audit.
Okay, so you're not a federalized IRS agent.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you don't have a gun and a badge. Okay.
No, I'm licensed by the IRS. In order to do the type of work that I do, they only issue the license to qualified individuals. And so you have to take this exam that I was telling you about, or you have to have been an employee of the IRS for 5 years to qualify to do it.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, but I'm not the IRS. I am not IRS.
So you're like a liaison of the
third party tool.
Similar. I guess you could say that. Intermediary, because the IRS has their objectives and we have ours. We can kind of touch on that a little bit. It's interesting. Okay.
So before we get there, so let's break it back. What was your figuring shit out moment with picking or becoming an enroll agent?
I'm actually still going through that phase, right? So I did taxes for many years before I decided to get my license, and I actually was looking for a change of pace, honestly, because being a tax preparer and being an enroll agent or a CPA or a bookkeeper, for example, those are completely different roles. And honestly, I signed up for it because I wanted to have some credentials behind my name. And I thought it was like a glorified tax preparer. And I had been told that by so many people. And then I decided, like, hey, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to just find out what it's about, and like, I'm knee deep in now.
Cool. So does that license, does that, what kind of benefits does that provide you? You're able to do taxes on behalf of businesses and individuals?
I can do taxes for any situation worldwide. So I have unlimited representation rights before the IRS, which means that I have the same rights as an attorney and a CPA. So like if a person has tax problems, let's say they haven't filed in however many years, 3+ years,
right?
And they're in trouble with the IRS, they could reach out to myself for representation to kind of be like the liaison between the IRS and the taxpayer. And I work on behalf of the taxpayer to resolve any issues they may have with the IRS.
Okay, so you could negotiate taxes, like the full liability. You could negotiate with the IRS, cut it in half, cut it in thirds, try to bring
that's called an offer in compromise. And that's not like, I hear a lot of commercials where they say like we could save you X amount of dollars on whatever with the representation, or we can do a settlement, but that is a formula to it, and not everyone qualifies.
Right.
And I believe in being transparent with people to let them know, like, offer in compromise may not be your alternative, but yes, I can do those.
No.
Okay, so who pays you? Does the taxpayer pay you, or like the IRS?
Yeah, absolutely. The taxpayer pays me.
Right.
I mean,
so
I've had a job offer from the IRS, but I turned it down.
That's right. They were hiring out.
Why is that?
My business does very, very well. So the IRS wouldn't be able to match the kind of
you go from your own business to being an employee. Yeah, no, that makes sense. They were hiring like crazy too.
Yeah, they are. They actually they're hiring 87,000 representatives, because with COVID, a lot of people retired and stuff like that. So they're actually in the process of hiring 87,000 people over the next 5 years, but they expect about 50,000 to sever their employment either through retirement or turnover or whatever. So the IRS is still going to be up.
So I was going to say, you're able to represent the taxpayer like in court, right? So kind of like a CPA, it's like a lawyer, like, so you can't file my paperwork for me and stuff like that.
So I cannot represent people in court. I can represent people before the IRS. So there's another licensure. There's like only one other step after the license that I have. Those people and attorneys can represent people in court. But I don't have the license to represent in court. I can represent before the IRS.
So like when filing their corporation paperwork or filling out some of their business license stuff, you can do some of that stuff.
That's not something that I would normally do. That's not something I would do as an enroll agent. That doesn't have anything to do with taxes. That's like a business formation. That's a additional service, but it's not the same as enroll agent work. But that's something I could do. Yeah. Yeah, you can have somebody do that for you. Like formation companies, business formation companies. You can Google like Swift File is really good, and I think it's called Wyoming Attorney LLC or something like that. They're really good as well.
Okay, so what does your company do? I remember we talked before. You say you had 8 employees. What is it, your firm or your business? What is your specialty, and what is the name of your company, by the way?
Ooh, what specialty don't I have?
Okay.
So I have multiple businesses. So the tax firm is Goldmine Tax and Business Solutions, formerly known as Emerald Tax and Consulting. Emerald Tax and Consulting was my baby.
Yeah, I still
remember Emerald?
Yeah, I still get emails. At least it was a few months ago. I'm still on the email list.
So that was my baby, and then I decided to go through a rebrand once I got my license. Let it go, get a new audience of a different type of clientele. Now that I've elevated, I'm going to be working with a different type of clientele. So I do that. We do taxes, offering compromises, like you were mentioning, any type of resolution, tax debt resolutions, payment plans, representation. We can help with that. But I'm also a real estate investor too.
Okay.
So we buy and hold real estate as well. And then I have another company, which is credit restoration. It's called creditculture.com. It's a free credit repair program.
Dope. Creditculture.com. That's dope. Got to put all these
Credit
websites.
Credit. Culture with a K.
Gotcha. Okay. That's dope.
What about business dissolving?
Business dissolution?
Yeah, that word. Dissolution.
Like marriage dissolution.
Yeah, dissolution. Yeah, it's the same. No, I wouldn't. That's not something that I would normally I wouldn't do that. That's not a part of it's the same. No.
Okay.
Okay.
You can do that.
Yeah, I know.
True.
Yeah. So, or you could, like I said, you could hire a company that could do it for you too.
All right.
Are you new in town or need a fresh cut on the fly? Let me show you a convenient way to hire a mobile hair care pro now. Simply download the Cuddy app from the App Store. Create a profile and have access to professional mobile barbers and stylists in your area. The Cuddy app allows you to browse for hair care professionals 24/7. View their profile and share your locations to find the nearest one. Once you've found the perfect pro with just a click of a button, have a professional meet you in a matter of minutes. This means no more worrying about running late, waiting for the next chair to open, or missing your appointment completely. Reclaim your valuable time and put your mind at ease knowing your hair care pro is on the way. Cuddy app is the only place to hire a hair care pro whenever you are ready, wherever you are. Cuddy app. Join the revolution today.
So I think everybody should have a business, whether you are rich or poor, right, whether you are wealthy or unwealthy, middle class, lower class, upper class, in between, whatever. Everybody should have a business. Number one, what's the worst that can happen, right? You spend a couple $1,000s, you get a tax write-off, or your business blows up. Right now, legal loopholes and strategies, absolutely, but tax evasion, absolutely not. Like, you can't funnel money through a nonprofit to avoid paying taxes. The IRS watches that like a hawk.
But can a nonprofit own a for-profit business or no?
Yes, absolutely. But there's a difference, and there's a structure to it. Now, you can donate money from one business to another, or from one organization to another. You can loan money from your business to a nonprofit. You can set up a private foundation. That's another legal tax strategy. See, the difference is legal tax strategy and using it the way that is intended to be used. But what ends up happening is a lot of people, when they get the businesses, they use it in the improper way, like trying to have a W-2 job and starting a nonprofit and putting all of their money in there so they can try to avoid tax. The IRS is hip to that stuff.
Oh, so taking the whole W-2 paycheck and I'm trying to think of the right
donating
word.
it,
donating it to the nonprofit.
Right, but people try all sorts of things, right? So you have a cap. You do have a cap for the amount of the donations that you can give. Also, because there's a standard deduction and an itemized deduction. If you do standard, then there's a standard amount that is allowable. But there's ways to do it the legal way. Like, you can have a nonprofit organization, and your initiative may be to for financial literacy, right? You may want to have an initiative to bring financial awareness into the community. And if I have a nonprofit as well, my nonprofit can donate to your nonprofit. We can team up, and that's, a way that, we can support one another for those of us who have nonprofits. One problem that I often see, regardless of the business structure or whether you have a nonprofit formed, is the lack of adequate books and records.
Yes.
And we come up with things like We come up with ideas like, hey, how can I funnel this money? Or how can I do this? Or how can I leave my money in the mattress and not pay tax on it?
Right.
But in the end, it hurts us. It is killing us.
How so? You mean like not paying your taxes or avoiding paying taxes?
Yeah, avoiding paying taxes. Now, like I mentioned, there's legal ways to do it, right? But what the problem comes is when we start cheating ourselves. People have to realize that the tax code is written by Congress. A lot of these people come from wealth and are trying to build wealth themselves. So is to benefit people who are really genuinely trying to acquire wealth, not people who are trying to cheat the system.
Right. Okay.
And it does turn out favorable majority of the time when you just do it the right way.
Okay. So back, so record keeping, right? So
yeah,
I don't want to talk about mine specifically. Record keeping is important, right? I can tell you right now, I got it somewhere. I don't know where it is. I know it's on a computer file somewhere, whatever. What is something about record keeping that the normal taxpayer doesn't understand, doesn't do, doesn't utilize, doesn't maintain? Like, what is from your experience? How are we failing? Because I feel like we failing.
We don't keep up with nothing. Okay, most people, like, and I'm telling the truth. Like, it's literally not hard to take out your phone and take a picture of a meal receipt. If you go out, if you go out to discuss business, if you and I have a lunch meal, right, a Panera Bread, and you say, hey, Candy, I want you to come onto the podcast, and we're going to go on the podcast, and I need you to send me some referrals because I'm going to let you join as a guest on my podcast, blah, 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 blah. Well, that meal then becomes a tax deduction, right? Because we are there to discuss business. It takes 2 seconds to take a picture of the receipt. Okay, because the IRS wants to, you can take the deductions, but do you have the proof?
Right.
That's what they're looking for in an audit. And what tends to happen is so many of us small business owners, we do have the business, we make the money, but we don't
keep our recorers.
Yeah, we don't keep our records, and that causes a big problem. Think about this. The IRS's job is they are under Department of Treasury. So the Department of Treasury's job is to collect the money, right? So if they audit you and they already know that a certain people, let me just put it that way, lack record keeping skills, and they tend to over-report and under-report their income, who do you think they're going to audit the most? The people who they know don't have their stuff together, right? So then you get this audit. They give you X amount of days to respond to it. They want receipts, they want names, they want it in alphabetical order, they want birth certificates of your dependents, they want your mileage log, they want this, they want that. Oh, they'll say, okay, let's say a person wrote off $6,000 in meals. Okay, fine, send us the receipts. You don't have the receipts, so what do? You lose your deduction. Now you owe the IRS back penalties plus interest. And there's no way to escape them.
It just, I don't know. I hear you. That makes sense. I understand record keeping is important, but that also seems a little predatory. Because at the same time, it's like, why pick on the little person who, again, when we go through the public school system,
you live in America, bro.
Right? They don't teach us these things, right? Like we learn a lot of stuff that we don't ever use in life. It will be nice.
Because honestly, it's not meant for everybody to know. It's not meant for everybody to know. And I realized that as I was continuing my journey on becoming an Enroll agent, a lot of these things are not necessarily for the general public to know. It is meant for people who can pay an expert, excuse me, who can afford an expert.
Okay, so I don't know if you have the answer with percentage of, let's say, non-business owners that get audited, like a regular W-2 employee. Is it a growing concern? Is it urban legend, or is the IRS expanding in order to target the lower class
business owners?
Right.
So I'm not allowed to play the audit lottery since this is being recorded, so I can't give my opinion on that. But what I can say is exactly what I just emphasized on, which is have your stuff in order.
Right.
Because if you are chosen, you don't want to be in that number.
Unless you got your shit together. Right.
Yeah. So just is I can't give a percentage of people. I have seen people get audited for claiming they're dependent, and the IRS asks for birth certificates, and it's their child.
Right.
They've been claiming them all along.
Right.
It's completely random.
Okay.
Okay. So you mentioned taking a picture. You kept saying taking a picture of receipts, right? So are bank statements not good enough?
No, they're not. A bank statement is not a receipt. So the IRS has specific things that they ask for, and a bank statement is a bank statement. A bank statement is not a receipt. A receipt has itemized on the front of it. It tells you what was purchased, how much was purchased, what was the tax, and it itemized. A bank statement just shows that you bought something. And let's say, for example, you have a cleaning company and you buy your supplies from Walmart, or you have a job to do and you have to go to Walmart to buy supplies. Well, your supplies that you bought for your business are deductible, but if you just so happen to pick up dinner while you were in Walmart, well, that's you can't write that off, right? So the IRS wants to see what was purchased so that you can get the deduction, not just see a total amount. That's another thing, is commingling too. That goes right along with the receipts. If you get in a habit of using your business checking account for business transactions, you won't have to. It'll be you'll start building healthy habits. Like, you'll start going to places to make purchases, and you'll say, "Oh, this is from my business checking account. Let me take a picture of the receipt."
Right. Okay, so what is the best record keeping tactic? So like I get taking pictures of receipts that could fill up your phone. You know what I'm saying? You could lose your phone. Like, is there an app, or is there an easier way?
There are plenty.
QuickBooks.
QuickBooks is good. It's not my particular favorite.
Right.
I use another bookkeeping software called Hurdler. Is one of my personal favorites. I really like them. Is the user face is user friendly. You can make notes. You can invite your CPA or tax professional to the app or what have you.
Okay.
And it's easy to use. Like, so it's like backed up in the cloud, not pictures on your phone per se. But even if you had to take pictures with your phone,
that's proof.
The IRS doesn't care about your excuse about it taking up space in your phone. They ask for what they want.
No, I get that. Now I'm just trying to talking about the feasibility of it all, right? Like most people go throughout their day not worrying about IRS and getting audited, and they just want to live their life, right? But if
most people don't, you would be surprised. That's why my job exists.
Right.
Yeah, most people, you would be surprised. Yeah, and especially talking, speaking to someone who's been audited, and I talk to people who've been audited all day, that is a very big concern of a lot of people. And as a tax professional, that's the first thing I always hear is, I don't want to do anything to get audited, right? But you didn't keep your books, and you don't have what you're supposed to have. So if you do get audited, then that's on you.
Facts. Okay.
So do we come to you before or after the audit? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why are we coming to you, right? What is the most ideal situation for me to get on the phone and say, man, I need Show Do to come and fix me?
Both, actually. So I'm a tax preparer, so I can prepare a tax return. So you would give me your documentation, your W-2s, 1099s, whatever tax forms, your income, expense, balance sheets, whatever you have to prove your income and expenses for the year. I will put that into a professional tax software, and voila, you're finished. That is tax preparation. If you have an individual circumstance where, let's say, for example, I know that you are a business owner, right? Because we're doing this podcast. You have an intent to create revenue. You've spoken to me about some of your aspirations, but when you gave me your paperwork, you left off your bookkeeping. You left off your small business expense. So, but as a tax preparer, my job would be to prepare what you provide me and ask the questions, the due diligence questions that the IRS asks. That's just it. Tax planning, though, is if you were in that same scenario and you had a balance due to the IRS, and I talk to you and I say, hey, you underpaid your tax by this amount of dollars. Let's see if we can find some strategies to help reduce your taxes. Most of the time, you know, the savings start at about $30,000 per customer. It starts there. So then we would discuss a plan of action to make sure that you're not overpaying Uncle Sam while you're also benefiting from it on the back end. So we would have a consultation. I'm a honest person. I keep it all the way a buck. I expect my customers to do the same with me.
Right.
We're gonna go over your finances and see where you are and where you want to be and how we're gonna get you there. That's it. Period. Yeah. So it's multifaceted. I can do it all.
Do you got a website? Because I was looking for it. I ain't see it.
So my website is being rebuilt right now. Is going to be because remember I told you I'm going through a rebrand.
Right.
But it is CandyCurtisEmpire.com.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That'd be dope.
It's like your hub for all your services and stuff.
Yeah, let us know when that's
so
that's
we're putting everything. We're trying to consolidate. I'm trying to consolidate everything because we do offer so many services and like I guess.
But what's your bread and butter though? You talk about a lot of different services.
I don't do anything that don't make me money. I don't do anything that don't make me money.
I get that, but what's the point? What's one you look forward to the most, or which one comes to you the most? You said this is my bread and butter.
All of it.
There you go. Multiple streams, bro.
All of it.
What we trying to do.
Well,
that's my problem.
You started? How'd you get? Who got you started? Or which service did you provide that got you started the most? Like, this is what I'm doing.
Credit. Credit and taxes. So with credit, I'm gonna tell y'all. So I had filed bankruptcy when I was 19 years old, and I was pregnant with my daughter, and I, going through a situation with her father, and I ended up having to file bankruptcy. But I was adamant about making sure that my daughter had a place to live and that I owned it. Because if something were to happen to me, I would want to make sure my daughter had a place to live and didn't have to inconvenience anybody else. So I was able to fix my credit on my own, and I purchased my first house.
Thanks. That's dope.
And then from there, people always ask me like, Candy, how do you fix your credit? And I'm trying to buy a car. I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. But before that, I had worked in collections. So I was a collection agent for one of the biggest collection agencies ever. So I knew how to read a credit report.
You knew how to call them up and be like, "Where's my money? Let me get $1 today. Let me get $5. $10."
That's what I did. Yeah, I was a very aggressive debt collector too, and I did very well. So when I switched over to the other side of being a credit repair specialist, or being, knowing how to do credit, I didn't come from just like learning from some webinar. I actually did it for several years. I was a repo lady too. Yeah. I would repo people's cars.
Oh, shit.
So this path that I'm on was made just for me.
Okay, that's what's up. So when you was 19, you filed for bankruptcy. What? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people may not know what is the reason to file for bankruptcy, and what made you decide
so early
to file.
That's
for
right out the gate.
Yeah.
So I was in an abusive relationship with my daughter's father, and I had debt. I had a credit card debt because my credit was superb before I got with him, and I had credit card debt. And at the time, I had a Honda. What kind of car did I have? I had an Acura. I had an Acura at the time, and the transmission went out. So I had no other choice. I was like, I can't be stuck with a baby and trying to pay these bills. So I might as well just file bankruptcy and just start over. And that's why I filed bankruptcy.
So is that like a clean slate? Because I know what bankruptcy does, but like, did you have to go to court and prove all that, and then they wipe your debt, and then you start brand new? And is it that simple? I mean, is there? I know there's benefits, but is there disadvantages?
Yeah, so one of the biggest disadvantages is the impact that it has on your credit.
Right.
It's just it can ruin your credit, right? So all debt isn't bad debt, but bankruptcy is to help you get out of debt and discharge you from your liabilities of your financial responsibilities. You're saying, I'm bankrupt, I don't have any money to pay you, and a court agrees that you broke as hell and the person can't afford to pay you, or anybody else for that matter. But in doing so, you lose your payment history. You have a big mark on your credit.
Right.
And it lets people know, like, you know, you've had some type of financial problems.
And doesn't that stay on there for 7 years? Is it a 7-year hit for the most part?
Yes.
Okay. But in your situation, you didn't have. I'm assuming, I don't know. You didn't have to wait 7 years to buy that house, right? You went bankrupt.
No.
Okay, so there's ways to give back, to do what you got to do. Okay, so it's not a complete detrimental, you know,
it's not.
Apocalypse type of move. If you were to
I'm sure
file,
it would be at 19.
Huh?
Yeah.
Not at 19, yeah.
I'm sure
I mean, when I was 19, I had like $30,000 and $40,000 credit limit. So yeah, I ran it up because I had no other choice. I was out here trying to survive.
Right.
And you know, the circumstances led me to having to file. So you know, it is what it was. It didn't stop me from having a place to live for my daughter and I.
True.
It didn't stop me from buying a home.
Okay.
I was able to purchase my home through the FHA program. I think it was like 3 years or something.
Okay. So a bankrupt is okay. So you go to court, right? I guess you're pleading your case, or you're trying to. What if the judge says or doesn't agree that you can file bankrupt? Like, what if they say no and
you don't go on trial? You don't go on trial. It's not one of those type of things. You have your bankruptcy. Yeah, your bankruptcy. This is how it was for me. I went to my bankruptcy attorney and I was like, I need to file bankruptcy, and he said, pull your credit report. I gave him my credit report. He asked me, you know, what do I want to include? And I said every damn thing.
Right.
And so I had to take a pre-bankruptcy class, like how to be like financially responsible.
Right.
It took like a couple hours to do that. And then I gave the certificate to the attorney, and then he goes to the trustee. He goes to the trustee, and then you do have to go to court and raise your right hand. You go to the federal building, and I guess you tell them, like, you have to take another class that says you won't get in debt anymore. Okay. And then you take a class that says you won't get in debt anymore, and you go to court, raise your right hand, and then everybody. It was a lot of people there too.
Oh, facts.
It was like 100 people filing bankruptcy, all ages, all races,
at the same time. So, is there a thing that can be denied, or if you file, you pretty much got it?
Your lawyer should tell you ahead of time if bankruptcy is a good strategy for you.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I know since I filed, a lot of people are doing like Chapter 13s, which is like a repayment agreement.
Okay, got you.
I filed a Chapter 7, which was complete liquidation.
Everything, get it out of here, gone.
Get it out of here.
I'm done with this shit.
I ain't have nothing but some debt. I didn't have a house.
Right.
I ain't have a car. My transmission went out. Remember? I ain't have nothing.
So, how did you? So, because this is a great story. I feel like people need to hear. Like, even at such a young age, even filing bankruptcy, starting fresh, you were still able to buy a house. Like, how did you manage that? Because a lot of people out there feel like credit is the one and only way to purchase property, right? And without that, you're pretty much a renter for life. So, how did you do that? You know what I mean?
I fixed my credit. I fixed my credit. Like, yeah, I fixed my credit. I was able to rebuild my credit. I did my research, trial and error. I found and I had a good job too. So around that time, I was making like $20-29 an hour. As a matter of fact, I was. Okay. I know exactly how much my paychecks were every 2 weeks.
11.
But to the penny.
Right.
But I fixed my credit, and I found this house, and it just so happened that they were having like a first-time home buyers program. So I participated in the program. I received some grant money. I was like still dead broke. I didn't even have earnest money.
Right.
I didn't even have, like, I had to borrow my earnest money from my dad to buy my house.
Right.
And that was it. I found a real estate agent. She was really nice. I had already found the house that I wanted. And I was like, I want this house. Can you help me? Okay. And she was like, okay.
So how many years was it after filing? Was it like?
I think it was 3 years after I had filed bankruptcy. It was like 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So you built your credit for 3 years. Okay, that's inspiring. A few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I don't know where it came from. It hit my credit. I think I missed a payment like 10 years ago. It was like a one. I might have forgot, and it was just one blip on my credit for like 7 years. It just fell off like a few years ago, but it was always there. Like I have 100% on time for everything else. It's just this one card from bumfuck town 2011 or something. It was like December. And it was like a one, you check the credit report and it got the red box 30 days. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I didn't catch it maybe to like, 5 or 6 years after. But it was on there. I wrote them. I asked them to take it off. They said, fuck you. And I was just like, what the fuck? But it's off now. But it's like even that little blip, you know what I'm saying, can blemish your whole credit report. So you was able to file bankruptcy and then within 3 years buy a house. And I think that's dope.
Yeah, because I didn't want to go through that situation anymore. My priority was my child, and I did what I needed to do to make sure that we had a roof over our head. Like I just so I worked. I don't want to give you guys my whole resume.
I mean, that's cool. That's what we're here for this podcast. We sharing information. We inspiring people.
So I worked in the financial services industry since I was 18. I started as a teller at Chartway.
Okay.
And I would count people's money. I would business owners would come in, deposit big amounts of fucking money, checks and whatever.
20,000, yeah.
Yeah, and more than that, 100,000, whatever. And and I was sitting here like I'm making $8.35 an hour.
Right.
Right. So I'm like,
I need this money. Right. How do I make these deposits these people coming in here with?
Yeah. So after that, after I worked at the bank, I got pregnant with my daughter. I changed careers, started working in call centers, doing some customer service. I stumbled across this one call center where it was a call center called Coleman and Associates in Norfolk. And it was a couple that came in one day out of the blue. The lady had a black lady. She had on a fur coat, and it was a man with her. And my mouth just dropped because she had all of the diamonds and all of the jewelry and all of the fur. And my mouth would drop like, who are these people?
Right.
And her husband, they introduced themselves and they said, we just got the contract for this building and we're going to be taking over effective 2 weeks from now. And that was the first time I had actually felt the aura of being in the presence of people of color who were super wealthy.
Facts. That's crazy.
And so even working in the bank, I had never experienced that to that extent. And I was inspired from there, and I got to do what I got to do, because if they can do it, I can do it.
That's dope. That's what people need to see. They need to, and that's what we do this for, right? So we make podcasts. That's what we talk to inspiration to people, because people need to see these stories and need to hear them, even if they don't see you in person or whatever. Like, the information is out there. People need to be inspired. So,
and anybody can do it, y'all. I tell people, like for myself, I'm a transparent person, and it does come, maybe sometimes it comes off as bragging, but I know where I have been, but I also know where I am going.
Facts.
And if I can do it, I'm a girl from Portsmouth. I didn't go to an extravagant high school. You know what I'm saying? I'm from P-Town. You know what I'm saying? I'm your average everyday person. I was a single mom. My baby daddy won't shit either. I can relate to all of that. So therefore, there are no excuses. Like, if you want it bad enough, you're going to get it done with no excuses. I don't care how many kids you got. I don't care what your baby father not doing for you. My daughter's father didn't do anything for my child either. But guess what? The sweetest revenge is success. And literally is not unattainable to do it.
That's true. People need to hear that.
With that, that's fact.
Yeah, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Like, I look up that couple all the time. I looked them up a few months ago because I was telling their story to somebody else, because I was, even still all these many years later, 14 years later, whatever, I still think about them, and I looked them up, and I found out that they sold the company for $68 million. Like,
Gosh almighty.
That's what I'm talking about. Shit.
Still going at it.
We on the way. We definitely on. I'm on the way. We on the way. Penny, we on the way. It's in the cars.
Million.
It's in the cars. I feel it. I feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
2023. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The journey
yeah.
is just as important.
What's your path? What are you gonna do? What do you want to do? I'm gonna ask both of y'all. What y'all want to do?
I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm trying different things. Right now we got the podcast we focusing on. I got a media company I got a contract. I might get another one soon. I'm just all over the place. I feel like when I get asked that question, I could talk about all the many different things I'm doing. But the end result, the end goal is to be financially free, have multiple streams of income, own different companies, be a serial entrepreneur, and just get money. Basically, that's
what's your definition of financially free, though?
Time freedom, like money coming into my bank account, depositing right while I'm sleeping, while I'm eating, while I'm doing whatever, tens of thousands of dollars a day, hundreds of thousands, just coming in from the foundations of work we're doing now, building upon foundation, and then just reaping the benefits, reaping the rewards, and then paying it back, right? Putting people on, sharing stories, telling people they could do it too, maybe become a social influencer. I don't know. That's basically. That's
okay. So you told me the goal. Do you have the steps to get there?
Yes.
She's talking to you, Frank.
That's what we're doing now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The steps and the steps are also actually being made up on the way, right? So you make mistakes. So that we got a path.
Yes, is important.
I'm putting the blocks down in the path as we go, right? So what about you, King? I feel like spotlight's on me.
Listen, how you build a brick wall one brick at a time, right?
Yes, that's true.
Nah, so
what's
okay, same as him, but a little more focused. A tech serial entrepreneur, right? So most of my entrepreneurial endeavors are tech driven. You know what I mean? And even with the goal is a home run. Somebody can be a home run. And everybody is going to be a while for a long time. 50, 40, 70, 80 years. You know what I mean? So I got a couple balls I'm juggling. The nonprofit for the kids, the app, and then the mask is, you know what I mean? So
true.
Freedom number 2 million, right?
Okay.
I'm working on some trust. I'm working on getting my trust together now. So act as if you have it now. Behave as if you have it now. Vibrate as if you have it now. You know what I mean? So that's where we at right now. That's what I'm in now. So cultivating audience, putting in the work, doing the things that need to be done, mapping it out, like
doing the stuff that most people won't do to get what they can't, or put the work in. So
I don't even care about them. I'm doing what I gotta do to make sure I get what I need. You see what I'm saying?
Word. Are you looking for a media agency that covers all the creative tasks that make a business successful? Lucid Perspective produces elegant, high-resolution graphics and logos, high-definition and 4K video, complete with treatment concepts and innovative editing. Lucid Perspective provides photography services such as fashion, advertisements, product or service, and aerial photography. We also help businesses build their brands from the ground up with complete campaigns that will make your business attractive to your target audience. We can bring your brand to the masses with our effective and strategic marketing campaigns to include sales funnels, eye-catching advertisements, breakthrough digital marketing through social media, and other digital avenues. Visit lucidperspective.com today.
Yeah, so I used to have this poster that said the difference between the have and the have-nots is that the haves did what the have-nots were not willing to do.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Those are the words that I was trying to. Yeah, it gets crazy when you ask somebody, like we know the feelings, right? We feel it. I feel like 2023 is gonna be big for us, for me, for my family. But it's almost like when you ask to articulate the steps there, it's kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta act, you gotta execute. There's things to do, but you don't necessarily know when or how it's gonna manifest.
I'm gonna cut you off.
All right, do it. Go ahead. Come on.
Because I want because I want to sell this app, but I don't know I got to build the app one time, dissolve it, and try it again. You see what I'm saying? I know I had to fail or learn to map it out beforehand and then come back with it with a different tweak. It ain't making a different plan. It's just making a better plan and working the plan better, executing the plan better, right? Because the idea is gold, home run, already known. The fact, just getting it out there to the market, to the universe, to the world, and then let it do what it do. Right. But you got to build it. She was right. Got to give it a life. So yeah, to cut you off, Frank.
No, you straight. You got to build it up. You got to build it. And that's part of the work aspect, right? Like a lot of people.
You got to go through it.
I tell you what, like I've had so many ideas over the years of businesses, of inventions, of whatever. Don't act on it. I'll have a thought, entertain it, a thought experiment for 10 minutes. Then it's gone to the wind. Don't think about it again. 6 months later, a year later, I see somebody else doing it. And I'm like, that was my idea, or I had that first, but I didn't act on it. So like I'm to the point now where if something comes to me or I get a download, I feel like I need to act on it. Otherwise, I could lose it, or I could see it manifest for someone else. So that's why I'm kind of like, when you asked that, I was like all over the place, because like that's kind of where I am. But I do understand there has to be a focus. You have to find one thing, focus, build that up, get it to a sustainable point, and then go to the next thing. Yeah, we work.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Okay, what's up?
I disagree. You can do whatever you want to do. You can, if you are a person who can multitask, you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things simultaneously. Multiple things can come into fruition together at the same time, concurrently, consecutively. You don't have to just focus on one thing. And I'm a serial entrepreneur too, so I can relate to you. But the thing is that first you have an idea, right? So you're given this idea by whomever you believe in, the powers that be, or whoever you may not believe in, whatever.
Right.
And you are given this idea, and you write the idea down, and then you write a rough draft of the steps that you think you should take to get there. What is it going to take? Because now it becomes a plan, right? It's not just the idea, it's a plan. And every day, or once a month, or once a week, you check off something from your list of things to do to get there.
Right. Okay.
And you can do that, and it may be a task that only takes 10 minutes.
We actually did do that for the podcast. Was it a couple weeks ago? we had the meeting with a PR lady, and she basically was like, write some goals down, and then we're gonna meet her again. So we kind of did that for the podcast. So like we have tangible goals for the podcast. So I guess we did that with something. I need to take that and do it with other stuff.
Not just for the podcast, but for your life. So when I speak about business, I'm not just talking about a business as far as the podcast. I'm talking about your business, yourself, your future, your life.
Network.
What are the things that you want to experience in this life? Whether it be a failure, like in your case, you said you didn't know that you had to start over, but some of the best have to start over all the time. You have to reinvent yourself. You come up with new ideas. You think of ways to refresh it. And there's nothing wrong with starting over so long as you're moving forward and you're making progress. So that's just my opinion on it. Don't think about like what it's going to take necessarily just for the podcast. Think about what it's going to take for you to experience the life that you want to have.
Facts. Yeah, that's real.
Like I say, Frank, we gotta plant every seed. That's what I first heard from her when she was like, "Let me see what this Enroll agent talking about." Like the first thing popped in my head was plant every seed, bro. You know what time it is. She may not know, but my mask, I sell LED mask at kids events, stuff like that. I have no idea why they do what they do, but they go hard, and I would have never known if I didn't go outside and try and plant the first seed, right? So,
facts.
Yeah, you just never know. Some of my businesses, I wasn't expecting to take off like the way they did, and even though you want to live a certain lifestyle, to of course, pacing yourself, and also understand that things can go wildly good too. There may not be, and during that journey of things going good, you might have a little setback. Things might happen. You know what I mean? I've seen all types of stuff, like like, I remember it was a day that I was making so much money that the payment processor shut my payment processing down for the day. I couldn't make any more money for that day.
That sounds like
At that point,
that's why.
Yeah, but it's not uncommon though. It's not uncommon because I don't have a big business. I just have I run my business smartly, and I'm creative with ways to earn money. And so if I'm not going to say the amount, but it was a significant amount, and I didn't even realize, like, dang, I can't even make over this amount of dollars in a day. So you have to get permission, and that was like a little hiccup. So it inconvenienced my customers and stuff. So stuff like that, it happens, but you got to roll with the punches.
I call my bank tomorrow, ask them, what the fuck is the max I can get in a day? Because I'm not trying to deal with that shit.
Yeah, and your payment processor
triple
too.
That shit.
But I've seen you want to know what's crazy? I've seen a billionaire. Now I ain't talking about Kanye West. This happened long before Kanye West.
Right.
Okay. A bank shut their bank account down because they had so much money in their account. The bank shut their bank account down and cut him a cashier's check, and told him to take his money elsewhere.
What?
Well, it's possible money. You have money like that.
But wouldn't it be better to bank your own bank at that point?
No, not particularly. I believe your money should be in the bank. I don't have a bank. One of my aspirations one day was to have a credit union, but
where your money at?
My money is an investment.
That's dope.
Yeah, my money is in investments. So, you definitely should have a bank. You should have multiple banks. You should have investments. The old saying, 7 streams of income. One lady tried to tell me, oh, you need to have one stream of income. As long as that one stream is doing well, you're good to go. And I was like, that's why you're going to be broke.
Right. When that shit gets cut off, the bank says no, or you lose that job or that stream, you're done for.
You ain't managing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you should have multiple investment income, passive income, earned income, unearned income.
And it's dope. I think
it depends on the lifestyle you want to live. Like I said, like I enjoy doing what I do. I have a passion for taxes. I love credit. I love finances. I love challenging people of authority. I'm not afraid of the IRS. I'm not afraid of the credit bureaus. I'm not afraid of a collection agency. So, like,
you go to bat for your people.
I'm gonna go to bat. I'm not. Y'all are people just like me, and I know law. I know consumer law. Y'all think that every person out here is ignorant and they don't know their rights in consumer. But if you are my circle of friends, if you know Candy, if you know LaBena, you gonna know your rights. So you're not gonna be able to get over on us.
Let's go. That's dope. If I'm ever in trouble, I know who to call.
Facts.
Yeah.
I'll be like, they're coming for me. Nah, I don't believe it. I'm good. I put out good vibes.
Yeah, put out good vibes. Out. That's right. Yeah, and you be confident. Yeah. Be confident in your abilities. That's another thing that we as that I see happen a lot amongst people of color is that we're not confident in our abilities. We feel like we are only worth what they give us, and that's not true. Yeah, we deserve more.
I actually thought that way for a long time. I was in my late 20s when I realized that, when I woke up from that spell, if you will. Anytime before
like
that, it was always just get a dime raise and was happy with it.
People base their value on a job. They base their self-worth on a job. Like, oh, my job is only paying me $35,000 a year. That's all I'm capable of doing, and that's all I'm capable of having. And I'm only capable of living in this 2-bedroom apartment. I'm only capable of, payday loans, and it's not true.
Oh, yeah, I was stuck in there. I was doing payday loans out the ass. But let me ask you
this.
Me too. the power the job give them, right?
Plasma.
I gave plasma. Did you ever get plasma?
Yes. I gave so much.
Yeah, my kids be asking me scars. My kids like, "What's that scar?" And I'm like, "Man, bad times."
I gave plasma. Look, there's no shame in my game. Well, I was. This is why I tell people all the time: never get too attached to a job. Y'all got to understand, like, a job, you are expendable. You know what you are. Most of the time, you are a number, right? So never get too attached to it, right? I had just got the job at the bank. I was there maybe 9-10 months or something like that. and they decided to lay off. And this was right after I purchased my house.
Ooh.
So I had to take a job. I went from making 20, by that time I had gotten a little raise with $21, $22 an hour, to taking a job making $12.50 an hour. And my mortgage was still due.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what I did? I went right to Plasma Center. Sure did. Donated plasma because that could pay my car. That could pay my either my light bill or my cell phone bill. I went through.
I was getting $25.
I was getting a little bit more than that.
Oh, damn.
What kind of blood you got?
I don't know. I could only go like once every 3 weeks or something. They didn't let you go like all the time. They put it on the calendar. Like maybe I went to a different one. I was getting like $25 a visit.
I was going to Optoplasma.
I think that's what I was going to.
I was getting about $75, $50 a piece.
Hey,
yeah,
I'm pissed. I thought I was on the low end. I was like,
they could wait for you to come in.
Oh my!
It was a dude. I remember it was a guy that was in there, y'all. He had me cracking up. He was on the phone talking to somebody, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm at my part-time job right now."
Hold up, did they pay you by your blood type? I don't even remember. Maybe I have a very common blood type. I don't know.
Maybe it was. I don't. I have a rare blood type.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
But I don't think that's how they paid you. I don't know how they paid you. But you could go. You could go every other day.
I could understand why the whole goddamn city was in there. It was professionals. It was bums. It was military. It was Wendy's. It was gas station. I was like, Eric.
I was in there.
Yeah, anybody. It's free money. I mean. It's free money. Like,
you think
why not? Why, if I can make my car payment by donating blood, like I donate blood anyway to the Red Cross. Right. So if I can donate plasma, why not?
It makes you wonder what were they doing with that
felt a little
plasma?
dirty out there.
Turning around and selling it for thousands somewhere else? I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know what they do with it. Maybe they're supposed to use it for people who need blood transfusions.
Nah, I don't know. So let me ask you this. For somebody, let's say we strike gold, the podcast blows up, all our businesses blow up, we raking in thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands in tax year 2023. What would you say is the first thing someone needs to do when they acquire so much money? Like, what's the very first smart tax move they should do when they enter the next tax bracket or 2 or 3?
Get an accountant. Well, first of all, you need a team. You need a team of competent individuals who can help you navigate wealth, not only taxes, but someone who is experienced in wealth building. Just because they do taxes don't mean that they understand wealth building.
Right.
So that, and get an attorney. So an Enroll agent would be a good place to start, or a CPA that specializes in tax. Because not all CPAs specialize in taxation. Some specialize only in accounting. But you need one that's going to help you specialize, that specializes in taxation, which is either a CPA or an Enroll agent and an attorney. You always get those 2 first.
All right. And at what threshold would you say is that required? Like if you break 200,000, 500,000 in a year?
I would say 100,000. 100,000, because first of all, we need to come up with some strategies quick to help reduce your tax liability for the current year.
Right.
And that 6-figure mark is right at the time where you probably want to start strategizing.
Okay.
40,000 is okay. You could do 1 or 2, wham bams strategies or whatever. But I typically work with people who earn 6 figures, 6 to 7 figures.
Dope. Okay. So there we go. That's our goal. We try and break 7-8 figures on this 2023.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Facts.
I mean, you get sponsorships and things like that. And then you need somebody to help you keep your money. So $100,000 these days doesn't go very far, and you don't want Uncle Sam to get a big chunk of that. So you need to make sure that you have money aside to pay for your strategies, to pay for competent help, and to pay for an attorney, and not go out and do what a lot of people do, which is blow the money, buy cars, trick it off,
show off,
do crazy stuff. Yeah.
I'm not really a show off person. If you're gonna
buy something, buy some jewelry, some diamonds.
I might invest it back.
I see you playing with you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Invest.
All right.
You got any last questions, King?
No, I'm cool, bro. She got me thinking over here, bro.
Yeah, I hope that's the objective. I want you to think, and I want you to,
Mhm.
I want you to like literally, seriously envision the life that you want, and think about it, and speak it as if, like you said, it's already happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in manifestation. I believe that you become what you think and what you speak.
Facts.
I truly believe that. I believe
am.
that if you say negative things or think negative things or think negative thoughts, even about yourself,
Right.
then you're beating yourself down. So, think about the life you wanted. Like years ago, my husband and we were sitting on the couch, and I was like, I used to suffer from anxiety really bad, and I started having a panic attack. And he was like, "Man, what's wrong with you? You know how y'all guys are with the anxiety thing."
You know,
I was like, I'm gonna be a millionaire.
Right.
And I was broke.
So you gave yourself anxiety just thinking about what you wanted and that you weren't there at the moment.
No, because I had a literal epiphany.
Right.
That I was
download.
Yeah, I had a literal epiphany that I saw myself being a millionaire, and it caused like a lot of excitement. And then and then one of my husband's friends, he had just got like a deal with, like, I can't say it, but anyway, he got a really nice deal, and he was a millionaire. And I was like,
that's dope.
Did you have anxiety when you became a millionaire? And he was like, man, before I became a millionaire, I started having anxiety attacks. Like, I already knew. So some people really do experience that.
I think I've had that already.
Oh,
I think I felt that.
Yeah, you think?
No. I had it.
I cried tears of joy. I know what time it is.
Let's go.
Yeah,
no,
yeah. So this think positive thoughts and, do what you're supposed to do. Keep adequate books and records. Thank you to Bomb. Thank you to big business. Act like the big business until you become the big business. And then keep it pushing.
Yep, maintain.
Yeah,
big
maintain
business.
it.
That's dope. There it is. Words of wisdom. Thank
Appreciate
you so
you, yeah.
much. This is
You're
definitely
welcome.
dope. Definitely dope. Thank you for coming on.
Great episode.
You did say your website, but you're gonna let us know, right, when it's up.
When it's back up.
Yeah, when it's back up.
This will be a few weeks out.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple weeks out because, like I said, I'm consolidating everything onto one website because I get tired of, like, go to this website for that, go to this for that, go to that for that. So I'm putting everything on one website, but it is going to be CandyCurtisEmpire.com.
Dope. That's dope. All right. Well, thank you so much. This is definitely a dope conversation. People need to hear this. We got to share these. We got to inspire the people. Let them know what's good. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We will be in touch, and if anything bad happens, I know who to call. But I'm not.
No, call me before that happens.
Okay,
call me before the bad stuff happens.
Nothing bad's happening. How about that? We're good. Everybody's good.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. Have a good night. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
All right.
Bye.
Do you have a small business and need a website? I am Flacs, one half of the podcast Figuring Shit Out. We are doing a free premium website giveaway drawing. All you have to do to enter, go to our website, figuringshitout.com, put your email address in the pop-up, or scroll down to the bottom and put your email address in the subscription. We're going to do a live drawing on our podcast February 15th, 2023 at 9 p.m. If you don't have a website by now and you have a small business, we're both experienced web designers. We can definitely help you out. The premium website is going to come with anything you need to run a small or medium-sized business. We'll do e-commerce, we'll do WooCommerce, Shopify, galleries, videos, blog posts, anything you need. We'll do free maintenance for up to a year, all on us. All you got to do, enter your email address on the website, enter the drawing, you can win.